Alright, I just wanted to walk through what we're going to be doing today on Flash. So this is the final Flash project we will have by the end of class today, and then I will give step-by-step how-to to actually achieve that. This here is your timeline, this is your scene, and over here are your property panels and your library. Your library is where you store all your images. Your properties panel changes every time you select a new icon on the side. Your properties will change to match the icon you selected. Your timeline has your layers, but also shows the span of time. If there's 24 frames per second, our 100-second film is about 4 seconds long. I'm going to go through it slowly by dragging the red time indicator. As you can see, I started with a square and I morphed it into a circle. Then from there, I created a gumball machine. And I want to show you what happens when you don't have a tween, which is when your gumballs will just jump. And then what it looks like with a tween. And then in addition to a tween, now I started adding a title. So I have my tweens, my title, my gumballs are still jumping around. I showed different ways to have a title add. And then my gumball actually comes out of the gumball machine, comes along the ground, and another gumball follows suit. So if I hit play, it's going to move over 4 seconds. So here, play. Okay, so what we're going to do now is make a new file. So File, New. And you're going to get a screen. It might look a little bit different, but ultimately you're going to select ActionScript 3.0. ActionScript 3.0, that's the newest action scripting. And it's going to give you a blank interface. We're going to go to File, Save As, and call it Flash Practice. You'll know it's saved because the tab at the top here will change to say Flash Practice.fla. That's a Flash file type. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to name layer 1 square to circle. Right? And that's exactly what we're going to put on layer 1. To change the name, again, just double click like any Adobe program. Your first keyframe has already been started for you. So now I'm going to go to my right hand side, my properties panel. And I'm going to select the rectangle tool, and if you hold shift, it will make a perfect square. Okay? To change the color, you have to select the entity first, and then you can change the color. Okay? If it's not selected, it's not going to change. The next thing I'm going to do is talk about actually making new keyframes. To make a new keyframe, what you do is you actually go to 10 seconds here, and you have to right click and then insert a keyframe. What this does is says I want a new element to start at the new keyframe. If you right clicked and said insert frame, it's not going to start a new point, so you get a square. It's just going to prolong how long the current screen is on the stage for. So what you want to do is actually right click and insert keyframe, which means a new key start. Okay, I'm going to then enter a circle, which again, oval tool. I can choose my color first if I want it to morph to a different color. Hold shift to get the perfect circle, and there's my circle. Now, I don't want my square anymore because I want it to disappear when it morphs, so I'm going to delete it. But notice how I'm still on frame 10, so I'm deleting it from frame 10. Sometimes it likes to delete in parts, just highlight to delete. So you'll see that I have square for the first 9 frames, and then 10 I have a circle. Okay. What I'm going to do is hold shift and click from frame 1 to frame 10 so that they're all highlighted. Now I can right click and I'm going to insert a shape tween. And if I move my keyframe now, you'll see that it goes from black to a blue, but also square to circle. How easy is that? If you struggled, just pause the video or go back to the beginning and try again. It's no big deal. The next thing I want to do is make a new file and a new keyframe on a new layer, sorry. So this one's going to be my gumball machine. Gumball machine. And at frame 11 here, I'm going to right click and insert a keyframe. This is where I want my gumball machine to start. So now what you're going to do is actually insert a picture of a gumball machine. So if we go to Safari, and I go to Google, I want to find an empty gumball machine. This one looks good to me. So I'm just going to simply copy the image, go back to Flash, and paste the image. Now notice when I paste it, I was still on frame 10. If I wasn't on frame 10, it would have pasted on a different frame. To select it, you can use the black cursor. To resize it, on the right hand side there's the transform tool, which lets you resize or rotate. Now I want to delete this black frame around it. I can't just select the frame, it selects the whole image. But much like Illustrator, Flash has this really cool feature where you can trace the image. So if I go to modify and convert it to a bitmap, it will trace it for me. And now I can say I don't want this part of the image. I use my white cursor. I can delete the part that I don't actually want. I lied. I can convert to a bitmap and then break apart. I missed a step. So sorry. Convert to bitmap, break apart. And now I can actually break apart my image, in theory. Yes, there we go. Black cursor. Highlight what I don't want. Delete. So I converted it to a bitmap, then I went break apart, and now I'm just highlighting the parts that I don't actually want. And I can delete them right out. Okay? Now, when I move ahead in time, I can't because there's nothing there. But I know that I want this gumball machine to stay put for the whole time. I don't want any actions to occur to it. I just want it to stay put. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to frame 100 and just say insert frame. Now you notice I didn't say keyframe because I don't want to start a new action on this layer. I just want that layer to last for that length of time. Now if I move between 100 and 10, my gumball machine is forever there, nothing happens, but I have a span of time to work with. So I'm going to make a new layer, and I'm going to call it pink gumball. And surprisingly enough, I'm going to put a pink gumball there. But before I can do that, I must go right above where my gumball machine starts, right-click that frame, and insert a keyframe. Now I'm going to get my circle. I'm going to make my circle pink. And I'm going to turn off an outline. I don't really want an outline. 0. Okay, 0.1 is what I'm going to get. So I'm going to now hold shift, make my little circle. Now, one thing I have to do is actually convert this circle to an image that is ready to be animated. So I'm going to lock my gumball machine layer so I don't move it, highlight over my circle so it's all selected, and I'm going to right click the circle and I'm going to convert it to a symbol. In here you have lots of different options. You have movie clips, buttons, graphics. We're just going to make it a graphic. In our next tutorial we'll talk about making a movie clip where we'll make a man actually walk within himself. But now I'm just going to call it pink gumball. Gumball. If I look at my library, you'll see I have my bitmap 1 from my machine when I resized it and before and after, and I have my pink gumball. So if I decided I want more pink gumballs, I could easily add another gumball. It's that easy. Now I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to insert a keyframe. And on this one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make a yellow gumball. And I don't really mind what colors you choose. Choose any colors you like. I'm going to go to my circle tool. I'm going to select my properties and make my gumball be yellow like my layer says. And hold shift. There's my gumball. Now I'm picky with sizes, so it frustrates me that that's bigger than the last one, so I'm just going to resize it. Oh, and it didn't resize both elements. The one thing, this is now, see how my gumball, when I select it, selects both? When it's not a symbol, because we haven't made it a symbol yet, it wants to select just the inside or just the outside. So it's easy to select them both if you right click, convert it to symbol, and call this one yellow gumball. Woo. So I have pink gumball and a yellow gumball. Again, remember if you select it and it doesn't select both the circle and the frame, it's because it's not a symbol yet. Okay? Make a new layer so we can have our third happy gumball machine. I'm going to call it green gumball. And go to frame 10, right click, insert keyframe, go to my circle tool, choose green, hold shift to make my perfect circle, use the black cursor, go over it, right click, convert to symbol, green gumball. And there's my green gumball. Perfect. So I'm going to give them some starting points. Now at frame 20, I'd like you to say insert keyframe, insert keyframe, insert keyframe. What's cool about this is that my circles are already there now. They're existing and they won't move between 10 and 20. But now at frame 20, I can say, well, I want to have the yellow one have gone here, the green one's gone here, and the pink one went over here. Now if I move my time, they randomly appear further. I'm going to jump to frame 30, same deal. Right click, insert keyframe, insert keyframe, insert keyframe, and now again I want to move them. So maybe my pink one would have gone up here, my green one fell over here, my yellow one dropped straight down. Now again, time has moved up, up. So on my time move, move, move. What's cool is if I actually highlight from frame 20 to 30 and I say insert classic tween, it would tween it, tween each one. Now the problem is it's now created tween the whole way down. So I don't do my tweens until the very end, okay? So same deal, go to same 40, right click. It's not a problem if you're not right on it, it's okay for a tutorial. Insert keyframe, insert keyframe. My pink one, I'm going to get ready to fall out of the gumball machine. That will be the first one we'll leave. My yellow one maybe will go up. And my green one will go sideways. And then I'm going to move up to frame 50 and I'm going to do right click, insert keyframe, insert keyframe, insert keyframe. And what I'm going to do is move my pink one to actually come out of the gumball machine. My yellow one had fell over. My green one followed the yellow one. Go ahead to 60, right click, insert keyframe, insert keyframe, insert keyframe. My pink one has traveled ahead in time. My yellow one wants to follow suit. My green one went to the top. Frame 70, insert keyframe, insert keyframe, insert keyframe. My pink one has gone ahead. My yellow one has fallen out of the gumball machine. My green one wants to come too now. Then I'm going to go to frame 80. Right click, insert insert keyframe, insert keyframe, insert keyframe. And my yellow pink one has ended the screen. My yellow one has moved ahead a little bit. My green one has come out of the gumball machine. Go to frame 90. Insert keyframe, insert keyframe, insert keyframe. My yellow one's met up with my pink one. My green one's followed suit. And that's where I'm just going to end it right there. Okay. Now, things that have to happen so it doesn't look like so erratic. If I highlight between 20 and 30, and I say create classic tween, it will create classic tweens. Let's do it the whole way through. Ready? So I'm going to do it right from beginning to end. Shoop, shoop. Create classic tweens, and it will navigate itself around. So So my yellow one actually has navigation. So I'm going to do the same thing. Beginning to end, right click, create classic tween. Below, pink gumball, beginning to end, right click, create classic tween. And if you can see, I had my square, it turned to a circle. We had our gumball machine, we got our gumballs. They jump, it looks weird, right? I want you to see that, understand the difference of why we have the tweens. Then we have my tweens. Tweens, tween, tween, oh, tween, tween. What's the problem now? The problem is that my gumballs are in front of the gumball machine. That does not look realistic. So at frame 40, on the right gumball one, I want you to right click right in front of it, so frame 41, insert a keyframe. And go right to frame 50, insert keyframe. So that you kind of right before and after the 40, 41, and 49, you've inserted keyframes. What you're going to do is you're actually going to delete it so that it is hollow. And delete it. And I like when things work. Why did that not work? Because my motion, hold on. Whoop, 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 whoop. Might have to remove the tween for that time. We'll do this. Remove the tween, and then I'm going to insert keyframe, insert keyframe, and now I can actually delete it, and it will actually delete those cells. I'm on the wrong layer. That's the problem. Happiness. Did anyone else catch that and think, what is she doing? Pink gumball. Right click. Insert keyframe. Did I need to delete it? Let's find out. Moment of truth. Insert keyframe. Did it need to be deleted from a motion tween? Well, no, it didn't. Ah, beautiful. That's easy. And then move ahead. What follows next? Yellow. So same deal with the yellow one. Make sure you're on the right layers, not like me, okay? And then go to 61. 61, right click, insert keyframe. 69, insert right click keyframe. Delete from the beginning to the end so that it will just disappear, disappear, and appear where it needs to appear. 2, 2, 2. Clean that up. And then, really, if you ever drag something and it goes crazy, just go to Workspace, Reset Essentials, and it will all pop back into Flash. Hello. There you go. Now I'm on my green gumball. My green gumball, when does it drop? Oh, right there. So at frame 70 on the green gumball, which is, you know, it jumps a little bit early, so I'm going to actually insert a keyframe here so that we have that recording, and I can move it ahead a little bit if I want. But then on 70, I can actually hit delete, and it won't appear until it's actually dropped out. But again, if it drops out and it's farther away, you can just, again, insert a keyframe, and you can kind of tweak it up if you want that gumball to be there. We know where it was before, right? It's in our library panel. I can drag my green gumball in if I need another one and actually say, no, I actually really wanted a green gumball right there because it was missing from that moment. And then it would fill itself. So there are lots of ways to tweak this and actually make it look cohesive. So gumballs bouncing, falling, falling, chasing. Now, something we haven't added yet is our title. If you saw on this one here, I have lots of little cells. Lots of little cells. What I did is I made lots of keyframes and I added one letter at a time to the same text box. And this one I just grew from a dot, which I'll talk about. So back to Flash. They start at frame 30. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new layer and put it at the top. Call it title. And at frame 30, I'm going to do 35, why not? I'm going to right click. And I'm going to insert a keyframe. And I'm going to make it a text box. I'm going to say T. And then I'm going to go to 36. Right click, insert keyframe, and I'm going to say TH. And I'm going to go to 36, 37 now, insert keyframe, I. Now go to 38, insert keyframe, S. Okay, you get the idea. What it's doing now, if I move my time coder, is it's spelling them letter by letter. I would like you to spell out, this is the story of 3 gumballs. What you're going to do after that is I'm going to show you how to actually grow out. So this is the story of 3, and then here gumballs is going to pop up. Pause. Phone. Quiet. Okay. Gumballs is going to pop up. So what you're going to do is a frame 60, right click, insert keyframe, and you're just going to grab your paintbrush and put a little dot. Just a little dot. Doesn't need to be too noticeable. There's my dot. Okay. If you want it smaller again, just a little dot. Anything will grow from. What it's going to do now is at 100, I'm going to right click and insert a keyframe. I'm going to grab my pencil. I'm actually going to connect from there. I'm going to spell out gumballs. Alright, nice, neat spelling. Now it went from dot to nothing. What we're going to do is the same thing we did at the very beginning. Right click from beginning to end. Shift click, so hold shift, click beginning, click end. Select the first one, hold shift, select the last one. Right click, and we are going to create a shape tween. And this is what a shape tween looks like. Do we like that? Okay, so it's up to you. If you don't like it, you can remove it and create a classic tween. Again, select the first cell, hold shift, select the last cell. Right click, create classic tween. We'll worry about the motion tweens next class, and this one will actually tween into the end. Okay, it's up to you what you'd like to do. See, this moves the time. So my favorite would have been the first one. But you can see the difference between the beginning and end. Click, click. Cool, shape. So what you have done now is you've created 5 layers of your gumball. Okay, so you started with the gumball machine that had beginning and end. Then you added your gumballs, and your gumballs bounced. Then you added your title, and again, spell out the whole thing. This is the story of 3 gumballs, and then you have your gumballs that comes from nothing. And depending how nicely neat you draw it, that will look differently. Okay. What we're going to do next time is we're going to talk about movie clips, motion tweens, and sound effects. Have a good class.